Good morning. I'm Brad Murphy, General Manager of the Casper Event Center for the City of Casper and Spectrum Vending Management. I'm here to announce that the Class 3A-4A basketball tournament has been canceled per the instructions of the Casper Natrona County Health District. We do believe strongly that it's very important to protect our staff, our patrons, and everyone involved with this event. So we are following that information that was given to us. I would like to introduce Anna Kendrick. She is the Executive Director of the Casper and Natrona County Health Department, and she will answer any questions and give a statement. Thank you.
Good morning. I did not recognize that we would be seeing each other so soon. Obviously, yesterday we did have a press conference where we talked about keeping things under control, etc. However, last night we do have a confirmed case in the state because this is a very new, novel virus that we have not experienced. It is very contagious and will spread like wildfire. So we're looking for opportunities to contain the virus, to protect our citizens and protect everybody involved. So we did, under the direction of our county health officer, Dr. Mark Dell, do an order to comply to shut down the tournament. We recognize this is a huge loss for our players, all the participants, family, coaches, schools. I recognize that. I understand the pride that you take in all of the team sports that we do. But it's in the best interest to protect our citizens, protect the people that work here, just to minimize and really try to do our best to contain this virus. We're basically following what's going on in the national standards. I'm pretty sure all of you have seen what's gone on with the NCAA basketball tournament. Look what's happening with March Madness. Conferences are being canceled left and right. It really comes down to the fact that when we have individuals who are traveling from different places, you come into contact with all these different things. So if I touch a surface, imagine how many different people will also touch that same surface. This virus is not as difficult to control as norovirus, so we know what cleaning agents will control it. So we'll be advising our business partners about that here relatively soon to keep that under control. But canceling this tournament really is in the best interest to minimize and protect all of you. I know it's a hardship. We have no confirmed cases in Natrona County, but we do have a lot of very sick people. Influenza is still running rampant. Testing is still very limited of what we have available. I can tell you at the health department, we're fielding calls all the time from people that are very concerned. We're working to get the hotline up and running today, but we're looking to protect our citizens and the visitors to the community. We want to contain the virus. As I said, it's very new, it's novel. We have nothing to fight it off at this time. Prevention methods basically are all the same things that we've talked about before. Washing your hands. If you're sick, stay home. Try to keep that barrier, but protecting yourself. We have to take care of each other first and foremost, and recognizing that while I may be sick and I don't feel that I'm contagious, I can give that to somebody else who may not be able to fight off that disease. So we need to think about those kinds of things, not so much about ourselves, but the impacts that it has on others. I, again, apologize for all of the inconvenience. I have talked with the High School Sports Association as well as board members and the event center and people who work there, and I recognize what a detriment that is, and I apologize for that. At 1 o'clock today, we'll be having an additional press conference at the health department with Dr. Mark Dell in attendance to give you some guidance of why he really did cancel the tournament additionally from his perspective. I've given you the messages that he wanted to portray across, but also what we do for some other methods for containment of the virus. Basically, we're looking for people who have a fever, a cough, and a significant shortness of breath. So if you have any of those, we're going to ask that you call your medical provider, call the emergency room, or call the health department hotline that will be dispersed. I believe it went out in the press release that came out before we really officially canceled the tournament. So there is going to be a hotline that you can call, go through and find out if your symptoms indicate that you need to be testing. This is constantly moving, constantly changing what our recommendations are. The state has not made these recommendations yet. We recognize that, but in Natrona County, we're taking a very proactive response to keep it contained so that it doesn't wipe out our entire community. And we want to protect our citizens, first and foremost. Any questions? Yes.
David Sutter with Wyopreps.com. What is your answer to fans and people around the state that say this is an overreaction?
I believe it is more about protection. And if you look at what's going on with all of the other national, we're just following some of the things that they're doing. It's very precautious, making sure that we don't transmit the virus amongst people. We want to contain it. We want to keep it small, minimal. We're following what other people are recommending and what they're doing, and we're hoping that this will just protect Natrona County even further, as well as those visitors that are coming here from other counties. Yes.
So we already had the one game this morning. So
Yes.
what was the response to? Why wasn't it last night or this morning? Can you tell me the process that just went through that?
Right, so basically we know that there is a case, right? So that was one of the decisions that were made. We know that there are a significant number of people that were here. I also know that the spirit competition was yesterday during the day also. Youth are not our most vulnerable population. It is definitely affecting, if you'll remember yesterday in the press conference, Dr. Dahl talked about it is our elderly and immunocompromised individuals. So youth are really not that susceptible. Most of us in this room, we will probably likely have some form of it, but we'll recover for it. If I asked how many of you have had influenza this year, even if you get the flu shot, you still could get the virus. You just have varying levels depending on your stress level, your health, and everything like that. We are taking this as a precaution to minimize. So recognizing that it is in our state, she was, the person that was noted for this virus had domestic travel. So it's not so much about, were you in contact with anybody from China, Japan, all of those countries that were concerned. It is now like, if this person went there and then this person comes in contact, it's that kind of spread. So recognizing that is why we made that decision this morning. And it changed within 15 minutes. We changed our mind because we were just going to limit to just the players and let them play. But in interest and security and just being able to contain the virus, we did go ahead and close the entire tournament.
Are there any suspected cases in Natrona County?
No, there are no suspected cases. We are, at the health department, we're working to figure out testing mediums. I know that MESA is actively doing it. Some of our lab core and different things like that are working through the process. It's a brand new virus, so we are, of course, we're on back order for the number of tests that we have available, and we're trying to get that medium. But the most important thing is there's not a treatment for it, so stay home if you're sick and quarantine yourself. You'll be able to identify when you start feeling better and what you're going to do. Be in contact with your provider and knowing what you need to do. But basically, all we have for treatment is to stay home and stay away from people.
Can you say how many tests you do have available in Natrona County?
I don't know what to say in regards to like LabCorp or MESA.
Yeah.
I can tell you at the health department, we have not received our shipment yet. We have possible ways to make it work if we have to. And basically the testing is really just to provide that number of how many people confirming that that is in fact what they have, because we have no treatment for it. We're a year out from being able to get a preventative vaccine.
I don't want to cut you off. So, it sounds like the concern is having a concentration of people from all over the state in one spot, and then they would all spread back out. So if there was an
Yep.
infection here, it would.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because we know of situations where people, so for example, if a person does test positive, then we do contact tracing where we go out and look for other people that they may have been in contact to let them know to be on the lookout for those kinds of things. We know that people have traveled other places, have come in contact, and then they are notified that they were at risk for the virus, and then to recognize symptoms or quarantine. 2 weeks is what it's going to take. It's going to be something we have to address from the workload. As far as, if I can't be at work for 2 weeks, what does that really mean? We're trying to minimize that as much as possible to minimize the transmission of the virus so that it does not affect our work world. We're working very closely with the Natrona County Emergency Management partners. Basically, this is what we're going to be doing for a little while. We have multiple people that are working on this, just trying to figure out what to do for containment. As I said, there'll be the additional press conference at 1 o'clock at the health department, which will get into more of the details of what's going on. We have multiple meetings that we'll be having. Tomorrow we'll be having a partners meeting, which we can talk about their needs and issues of what they need to do to contain the virus. Again, our sincerest apologies for canceling the tournament, but it is in the best interest of yourself, your family, and your community. Thank you.
So Ron Laird from the High School Association and myself will be available for questions if you have any. Thank you very much. We appreciate your concern and your understanding.